I'm a trained psychic. All of my psychic abilities have been trained since I was a child. I was part of a secret government program that still hasn't been declassified that was looking for human potential and augmenting psychic abilities augments intelligence, literally on an intelligence test, and it is a very easy way to access human potential. What are we doing here tonight? We're again going to sit here and we're going to go at the mantra for peace. The words of the mantra are, please God help us with our intention to miraculously purify the hate and fear. Without hate and fear, there is no war. This week, we have an issue in that, this weekend, that there was a large solar flare that the sun released that potentially could be hitting the planet. I don't know what the latest news is, but you should absolutely sign up for the solar flares alert so that you will have the time to go and unplug, not just turn off, unplug all of your electronics, particularly computers, so that if it hits, you're not going to lose your computer and all your data, etc. Think about trusting the iCloud. Where is that information? Oh, I have it up in iCloud. Yeah, you just turned it over to someone that you trust. Do you know that it's protected from solar flares? Find out. So we're going to start by saying that the primary law on planet Earth is the law of intention. It says that intention creates reality. What's the issue? Why have we created such a god-awful reality? Because we don't really know anything about us. We have been deprived of a lot of very important information. And there is a lot of that information in different countries, in different places, in religion, but it's not all put together. And there have been agendas by the people that have that information. And there's also been the thought, including potentially a relative of mine 100 years ago, that nice people really shouldn't have really powerful spiritual information because maybe then they'll be tempted to use it badly. You know what? That's got to end. We all need to have all the information and we will figure out how we're going to use it. That's the number one law in terms of God and this planet, free will. Operational, what's the number one law? The law of intention. Your intention creates your reality. I'm going to put a small video on. It's 4 minutes. It has to do with the battle between good and evil, but it has to do with something that the deepest part of every religion knows, which is that people that behave badly and bad things that happen for a really good reason. We needed it. A person that behaves badly may be doing something that you really needed to have happen. You just didn't know it. So have the patience to look at it. I think it goes very quickly, and then we will start with the mantras.
We are ending a cycle on planet Earth, and it is time that you understand your relationship to good and evil in the history of the planet. I have a story to tell you. It may help to explain a lot of things in your life, but also help to give perspective on the history of the planet. It may change the way you view the transformation planet Earth is going through now. I had a session years ago with a client who was a really nice man, but with considerable darkness in his life. I asked how I could help him, and he said he did not know. The time with me was not his idea. I said I would look at his planetary history to find the most important information that would help him to understand himself. I went back to his life in Lemuria, the civilization before Atlantis. An angel appeared to him saying, "We need your help." He responded in that lifetime, "I'm willing to help. What do you need?" They said what they needed was difficult, and he responded that he was willing. They said a darkness had come over the planet, and most souls were too weak to handle the darkness. He repeated he would help. What did the angels need from him? They said they needed him to take on the darkness, as many souls were too weak. He responded, "I will do it." They told him it would be hard because he would not remember, and he might get lost in the darkness. He said he would do it for the others. Widen your lens, and it might help you to understand the violence and conflict today on planet Earth. Perhaps the most important aspect of your life in relations to others is not that you are Jewish or Christian or American or French or Iranian. Perhaps the most important aspect of you is that you are from planet Earth, and there are others out there that are different and have different intentions from those who are from here. Perhaps now we really need to understand what is going on. We are in a final battle between light and dark on planet Earth. We need to widen our lens to know who we are and who our true enemies are. We are multidimensional beings. We have parts of ourselves in several dimensions at a time. We are energetically structured like the tree of life, which is the backbone of our multidimensional system. Our individual sacred tree of life is our chakra system. Its central axis is the trunk of the tree of your life. It is your holy grail, with its funnel-like structure at the top, drawing in off-planet energies, and a funnel-like shape at the bottom, drawing in earth energies. Unfortunately, the top of your tree of life will be filled with the energy of Xibalba, what the Mayans call the path to the underworld, and scientists call the dark rift because of the alignments of the planets, which complete on December 21st, 2012. Unfortunately, the bottom of your tree of life, your holy grail, is already susceptible to the energies from Xibalba due to Earth's broken Brahmavara. Who is going to take on the darkness from the broken Brahmavara in the Gulf of Mexico? Who is going to take on the darkness that will enter the planet via the supermassive black hole that is aligning with planet Earth? Who will go to war to process the violence and conflict that is pouring onto the planet now? Who will kill and maim and be killed and injured to protect those of us who are not strong enough to process those energies? If it is true that Jerusalem is to be the site of the final battle between light and dark, good and evil, then the peoples who spiritually chose to carry the dark energy poured onto the planet are sacrificing themselves for all of us. Jerusalem, Israelis, Palestinians, Colombians, Iranians, all willing to battle for all of us souls, sacrificing themselves by processing the energies of conflict and violence so that we can be free. As in Lemurian times, a darkness is now entering the planet, and there will be souls who will sacrifice themselves for the rest of us.
Incredible. I did that video in 2012. And December 21st, 2012, Sagittarius B, a supermassive black hole, aligned completely with planet Earth and was able to penetrate the underworld because the door between the upper seven chakras that we have and the lower was gone. That's why they say in the Bible that hell is below, because it's below our root chakra. What's the point? The point of the matter is that there is an energy of darkness and somebody has to play it out. Like when there's too much fire, element of fire, somebody's going to play that out. And they're not going to look good playing it out. The energy of violence, somebody has to play it out. It landed on the planet. It has to be processed. So the people that are behaving very poorly have sacrificed themselves to carry that energy and play it out. And they've been identified as the bad people. Whereas actually, they're like a vacuum cleaner, suctioning up, processing through their own personal lives and their bad deeds, and energy that if they didn't, it would land on us. This is not an easy concept. I did not invent it. It's at the core of almost every religion. That's why we're not supposed to judge people. But I'm not going to try to convince you of it. I just wanted to share it with you. So let's go ahead and start with the mantras. But before we do that, please do your self-assessment. From 1 to 10, how do you feel? 1 is terrible, 10 is great, and then at the end you should do that again. And I may not remind you, I may forget. And then go ahead and look at the very controversial gold dress. This dress was constructed in gold and white, brilliant gold and white, shiny. But a lot of people, when it came out years ago, saw it bronze and light blue. It was gold and white. Why the difference? In my case, and I'm sure that applies to everybody, I saw it gold and white. And one day when I was passing by my desk, I saw the picture and it was no longer gold and white. It was bronze and light blue. And I went, who changed the picture? But nobody had changed the picture. My vibration had changed because I had had a rage attack, which I was prone to in those years. And I lowered my vibration. I no longer could see the gold in the dress. If your vibration is low, that golden energy that is already entering the planet, you're not going to be able to see it. You're not going to be able to take advantage of it. There's another place where you can see that gold and white, and that is in my logo. Several years ago, I saw my logo and it had a lot of gold around it. I went, oh my God. I showed it to somebody else and they said, no, it looks the same. And then I had them do the hate mantra. And I had them look at my logo again and they could see gold around it. Same logo, nothing changed. The person changed. Their vibration changed. It was my logo. They could see the gold in it. I couldn't see the gold in it that day. So your frequency determines what you're going to get now in end times, in these difficult times. But you can work with your frequency. And many people with this session we're doing now, 20 minutes, and doing it continuously, are able to raise their frequency, at which time they're able to take advantage of something that is there, particularly because it's coming into the planet now, that they wouldn't have been able to take advantage of, to see, to be, to work with, because their vibration was not compatible. It's the law of attraction. The law of attraction. So let's go ahead. We have, yes, I have a lot of pink around me. My vibration changes and it reflects in my surroundings. Today, it's kind of pink, the walls. They're not pink, they're beige. Very boring beige. Some days it's super pink. And some days it's not pink at all. And it has to do with how I am doing, what my frequency is. But you can see the difference. If you go to my different things in YouTube, you go, she's feeling really good there. Her frequency's high. She's not feeling good there because the background does not change. Yes, I put a plant here because I can't stand seeing the cord. Makes me crazy. You have more control over your life than you know. But you haven't been taught these things. Neither was I taught these things. I'm learning and immediately sharing because we don't really have a lot of time to waste. So let me go back to the mantra. I have to find it here. There we go. The mantras are repeated in silence. You expel the breath through your mouth. Your 2 feet should be on the floor and your hands can be in the Apana Mudra, which is the 2 center fingers touching the thumb. And then you put the outside of your hands on top of your thighs, and that wakes up 3 lower energy centers that are close to that door to the underworld. And then your root chakra, which has to do with prosperity, security. Second chakra has to do with sexuality, manifestation, creativity, Kundalini. Third chakra, which has to do with personal power. They get stimulated when you do the Apana Mudra. And your breath changes. The mantra is, please God, help us with our intention to miraculously purify the hate and fear. We have it here in Spanish also because most of our following speak, their major language is Spanish. It's much easier to teach anything about religion, metaphysics, magic, energy in Spanish because there's a lot more language. For some reason in English, we're lacking a lot of language. And some of the basic concepts are not accepted. Core basic concepts. So when I try to teach, people will fight me on the baseline things, which time I can't teach them the advanced things because they didn't ever hear about, nor do they trust this that I'm saying. It makes it a problem. I want to address something because I think I need to address it. I was going to say permanently. I don't think I can. I have a very iffy background. I was in a program that still hasn't been declassified. It was secret. I was trained as a psychic spy. I was involved in a lot of god-awful things. Never paid a penny. Total victim of abuse, mind control, etc. And a lot of people don't trust that. I don't blame them. But guess what? You run into stuff every day. You're supposed to have your instincts honed to where you can see whether what that person is saying is true or not, or what it is that they might want, or what it is that you should be doing. Why is it that so many people who hate authority do not give themselves the authority, don't trust their own inner authority? What Plato and Aristotle called the intelligence of the heart. You have to develop that. If you want to benefit from what I learned, which was a lot, I unraveled string theory, the fundamental structure of the universe. We work with it here. I've unraveled a lot of mysteries simply because I can see in the other dimensions where there's structure. But if you stay hooked to the she was a psychic spy, don't trust her, you're not going to benefit from it. You're not supposed to hook to me. You're supposed to be hooked to yourself. You're supposed to have a relationship with the intelligence of your heart, which is in the heart energy center. And that part of you should tell you whether what I just said you can trust or not, whether you should be doing this, not just me, everybody. But I think that one of my issues with teaching, that spirits do this. This part of us has a lot of portals. And when I start to do something important, the spirits start to bother. Everybody that follows me knows that. But when I pick up this, it's because the spirit are bothering, because I'm going to say, or I'm saying something important. So you need to develop your instinctive knowing. And don't just do it to be able to benefit from what I have to teach and what a lot of other people have to teach. Do it because authorities can no longer protect us and help us, because the society that they were trained under basically doesn't exist. The Mayans said after December 21st, 2012, the world as we knew it would no longer exist. And everybody went on December 22nd, hey, the world's still here. Yeah, the physical world's still here. But today, if you ask people if the world is totally different, everybody will go, oh my God, yes, that's what they were talking about. So let's go ahead with the mantra. And I'm going to put on a music video, a Fox Sensory music video that was designed with images, musical notes, sounds, etc., that will support the mantra. So go ahead and start, and I will pull up the video. You know what? I'm going to do the video that reduces the fire element because of the issue with the solar flares. If those solar flares literally are facing planet Earth and they come, I think it's going to be very difficult to not go to war with somebody. There's too many good excuses. And once you have that much fire, it pushes you to make you feel like you have to do something. And if you have that much fire, the only thing you can do is to fight. You think you're fighting for survival, you're really processing an excess of an element. So here we go. So this video will reduce the fire. You'll be better equipped to face whatever might be happening with solar flares, not just this weekend, but at any other time. These videos are free on our YouTube channel, on the Spanish one, but there's no language, so there's no issue. Okay, we're going to... I put the one that's 1 minute long. So we would assume. Okay. How do you feel? Isn't it reacting? Isn't it relaxing? Here is the dress again. How does it look? And from 1 to 10, how do you feel now compared to before you started the mantras? Normally, as a group, when we do it in Spanish, we do a lot more than 20 minutes. And somebody, I think, got a little bit offended at me. She said, I speak the languages in 1,000 ways. Exclusion can become negative. This is not exclusion. I'm doing English and Spanish. I am explaining something that I think that people who speak English and don't speak Spanish or other languages need to hear, which is there is a very sharp contrast in the level of knowledge and comfort with the other dimensions. It has to do with spirituality and a lot of other things between people that are very Anglo, speak only English, and people that speak other languages. Why is this such a big problem? Because the whole alien thing has to do with the other dimensions and has to do with things being different and multidimensional. And if you're not getting even the basics because your culture didn't provide that, you're going to be severely handicapped. And we are handicapped in this country, which is what I consider my country. We are handicapped here. We don't even have the basics. I don't know if she was irritated, the girl, at the English or the Spanish, but I'm trying to do the best of my ability, both. But the big issue is not this chat. The big issue is the alien issue and how comfortable you are with something that is so foreign, or how quickly you can get comfortable with that. And if you're already very spiritual, and that doesn't mean being a good person, it has nothing to do with being a good person. If you're already comfortable with the spirit world, dealing with the alien issue is 1,000 times easier. And I'm going to be totally open and honest. I do something called aura analysis. I even do it with companies that I work with, executives. I don't generally work with corporations because they need people to sign off on things. It's very difficult for them to sign off on my type of executive coaching and my type of strategy. Because it's like, where'd you get that information? Oh, come on. Which spirit gave it to me, or what dimension? No. We'll leave it for another day. Do you feel better? Are you more relaxed? How are your shoulders? Is your breathing better? So, and Edith is saying that even though she doesn't know English, she's doing the Spanish mantra, which was up on the chat, and she feels a lot more peaceful. So we're going to go ahead and say goodbye, and we'll be back here probably tomorrow, but if not, Monday through Friday, we'll just keep going. And I have had several people say that even with just what is 20 minutes, which for us is not a lot, they feel a baseline relaxation that they didn't have before. And this level of relaxation means you're not going to react as quickly to stuff that irritates you, which is very important today. So have a great weekend. Unplug your computers when you're not using them in case that darn solar flare or one of the solar flares ends up hitting our power grid and you don't end up trying to figure out what happened to all your information that was in iCloud that you thought was so secure, but that you didn't back up in a hard drive, which is unplugged from your computer, okay? Thank you. I appreciate you being here, regardless of the language.